Don't, 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 don't. Don't, don't. Boy, Mel Simmons. It's the As a Black Man podcast. Yeah, we started a little late today. You can count that one on your boy, but we still gonna have a great show. Got my man Joe in the building.
Up?
What up, Joe? What's good? What's good?
Good morning. Good morning.
And you know, we try to bring y'all the best of the best when it comes to guests. We have my man Dennis Johnson. Boy, y'all don't know how special the podcast is about to be today. What up? What up, Dennis?
Top of the morning, fellas.
Yo, Dennis, man, introduce yourself a little bit. Tell the people about you, man. We're excited to bring you onto the show. Why should we be so excited, man? Let them know.
Well, first of all, it's a pleasure to be here. Most definitely. Thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Dennis Johnson. I am the co-owner of Dream Speed Athletics, originally located in Lynchburg, Virginia, but also now in Wilmington, North Carolina, and South Florida. Let's see. Originally from Coatesville, Pennsylvania. Went to Liberty University, played track and ran the track and attempted to play football a little bit. Ended up being married, stayed there for 20 some odd years or so, and then just moved to North Carolina. So that's it in a nutshell.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on, man. We definitely appreciate you, bro. To all our viewers, man. As a black man, I know how it feels to feel alone. I know how it feels to be told that I'm not good enough. No, I'm not here for your entertainment. I'm not a rapper, a ball player, a celebrity. I'm a human being. As a black man, I'm told to man up when I have feelings. Ignore it when I speak my pain. Hopeful that things will change, yet disappointed they often remain the same. As a black man, I'm strong because I have to be. This life, a gobble up the weak, and the pain and trauma that I've been through has humbled me to become a better me. It's time, as black men, that we stand our ground. We speak our truth. We go after what we want, regardless of the pain we've been through. We quit for no one and inspire others to be themselves, to become greater. We owe it to ourselves as black men. Let's go. So we got a great show for you guys. Today we're going to talk about exercise with my man Dennis Johnson and how you can use exercise to positively affect your mental health. So Joe, give us a little background of why you were so excited to bring my man Dennis onto the show today, man.
Man, Dennis has been my guy for a while. So it's three guys with Dennis has a company called Dream Speed. Mm-hmm. With him, my guy Pete McFadden and Jacob Swinton. So these three guys were phenomenal track athletes back in the day. Matter of fact, Jacob actually ran against Ben Johnson back in the days. Who Ben Johnson was one of the fastest African American male sprinters in America. So all three of these guys went different ways in football in the NFL. And Dennis now is he's a business owner of a couple of businesses. So me and Dennis been friends for a while. Dennis is a very deep guy. He's very personable and he strives for achievement. So when you call Dennis for a workout, two things are gonna happen. One, make sure you have some Epsom salt because you can be sore for the next week or so. And two, to make sure that you'll say you want to train because Dennis is he's very thorough. You know what I'm saying? And he wants you to get the best you can get through exercise. And then they also have a fourth person, my girl D, who's a track coach down in Clemson. And South Carolina, my fault, South Carolina, yeah. And D is one of the most phenomenal track coaches you're gonna find in America because she coached the women in the Olympics. She's one of the best assistant coaches in the world, and America's scared to give her a job. Easy. You know what I mean? These four guys are very phenomenal athletes, great trainers. They help out college athletes, you know what I'm saying, get ready for the combine as far as football. They train athletes in all sports. They train some guys for soccer, softball teams. And here's the thing. The reason why I want to bring this on for multiple reasons. One, that these guys experience the same thing we experience in life as well. the social detachment, because they black nobody want to do business with them, and then if they do business with them, they want to give it to them for free. You know what I'm saying? And but yet they want the top services from them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which is hard. You know what I mean? Like here, I'm trying to provide you a service, but you want it for free?
Right.
Come on, man. No. Oh, my fault because I'm black. I gotta be the lowest guy on the block.
Yeah, yeah.
But you go over to the other guy who's a little bit lighter than me. You know what I'm saying? You'll give him $1,000 a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, Dennis and them, they've been trying to get very, very established, like a couple of guys, like Tom Shaw and them in the athletic training world, where these guys are getting like the top athletes from college to train them. Right. You know what I mean? But they're doing the same thing Dennis and Pete and Jacob are doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? So why can't the black man get that leverage in the training world? You know what I mean? Why they got trial up and down the highway when the other way around, the people come to them?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, and with us having the coronavirus, you know, Dennis gives somebody some tips on you know, how they can work out the house, how they can work out outside with their social distancing right now. And then, like, he can also talk about the struggles of being from a college athlete in a major school to now doing his business that he's doing now, like some of the stresses that he has as well.
So, Dennis, how long have you been in business?
Since 2008. May 2008, we started just from an idea, and it just kind of evolved from there into a whole bunch of other things. So,
okay, yeah, walk me through like that journey, like some of the things that Joe said. I seen you get hyped when you talk about people wanting to get those services for free. You like, yeah, amen, bro. Know about that? Walk me through the challenge of trying to get into that field of professional athlete exercise management. And what's your success been like? The origin of it, the first time you got your first NFL client. Go ahead and give us like the little bit of the breakdown of the origin.
Like I said, it started in May 2008. It actually came. I was laid off from a job. I was counseling kids and working with troubled teens and stuff, and ended up being laid off. So, kind of interesting part was I had just bought a house, just had a baby, and lost a job. Wow. So I figured I would never let anybody be in control of my future again. And so between sitting down with me and Jacob and Pete, we kind of came up with an idea. I used to teach and work in schools, and I coached all throughout Virginia. And so I ended up having kids come out and work out in the mornings because I was working out all the time. So they would come and work out for free. Didn't charge them a dime. So whatever I was doing, they came out and they did pretty much like 2 summers or so. And so I thought about it. I said, you know what? I'm giving stuff away. Why not actually turn it into a company and see what we can do? So we sat down, we designed a company. We came up, our first thing was a camp. We did a summer camp here in Lynchburg where we taught speed and agility. And I think we had about 20, 30 kids there. We charged about $100 for that week. And it ended up being one of the greatest things we've ever done. From there, we ended up, one of the guys that was friends with Jacob sent us an athlete, like he needed some work. We got, you know, can you help him out? And it ended up being a young man named Zach McCray. And Zach McCray ended up being a Division I athlete who ended up going to Virginia Tech. And he ended up bringing a bunch of other athletes with him. And the next thing you know, we were doing pro day and NFL training and summer camps and designing workouts for all kinds of guys. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I mean, the only thing I can say is it's I try to not just train sports, but train young men for life. And, you know, women, young people for life. So,
right. Okay, that's awesome. So when you get a client, a person that's transitioning from high school to college, or transitioning from college and trying to go pro, how long do they stay your client? Do you help them build through the entire process? And then if they do go pro, do they still stick with you? Or at that point, do they use like the team trainer staff and stuff like that?
Well, at this point, it's easier to get guys from going from high school to college. Right. And then depending on what college they go to, sometimes they transition so far away, there's really nothing you can do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a guy who's who you've trained in Virginia who goes to school in Florida, you probably won't see but every once in a while.
Right.
The ideal would be to have them throughout their athletic career. Whether they go pro or NFL or whatever they decide to do, the idea would be to be with them the whole time, which is what we would love to do, of course. Somehow, sometimes things get disconnected between, I guess, them going to college and training in college and then trying to go to the next level. And we kind of lose them sometimes. And, we have guys who come back and try to promote us and help us out. But I'm not sure what the disconnect is. But, either way, we still try to build relationships so that we're not just a guy who coaches, but we're also a friend, a mentor, somebody they can ask for advice. We share with them, our experiences, our transitions going from college to professional, and things that we endured and learned along the way.
So what have you seen for the people that are like keeping the college athletes when they go to college? Is it more of a capacity thing? They got more staff that works, or are they like traveling? Because like if somebody's going to go pro, let's say you happen to catch like a Cam Newton, right? And you were the one training Cam Newton and stuff. Like I'm sure that the person that was there helping him through that process would just basically travel wherever he was going because they knew he was going pro. Is that kind of like how it works? Or is it like a common problem that people lose, like even a Cam Newton that is going to go pro?
I think it's a bit of a common problem. It's hard to travel, especially if you don't financially, you can't. It's a responsibility, I mean, if you had an athlete that you train twice a week, you try to get them in as much as you can. But if you had a guy you train twice a week, it's a little hard for you to travel, depending on, if a guy goes to Alabama or Auburn, well, you're in Virginia, or North Carolina or wherever you're located, to travel cross country and spend a week there, you'd have to spend at least 3 to 4 days there so they could train twice or 3 times while you're there. It's a little bit of a financial commitment, which makes it a little rougher. The ideal thing is, everybody would love to have their athletes, throughout their whole career. I don't know if it's a black or white issue, I mean, I guess in some aspects it is, I would say, for the most part, because generally they trust their own. That makes sense. So a lot of your sports agents, they trust their own guys that whether they went to college with or they played sport with, they end up sending their athletes that they get to them. And right. For a guy, whether you're a new guy on the block or you don't have a name, it's a little harder to get into that industry,
Right. So when you focus on the high school to the college kids, there's a lot of people out of Virginia that goes pro and like or semi-pro in basketball and football. Like Richmond, my cousin went to the NFL from Richmond. He's in the NFL right now. Like how big of like is sports out there in Virginia where you live? Like, is it like as huge as it is in Richmond?
Well, I can tell you this right now, brother. The shirt you got on, y'all running back came from Lynchburg, Virginia. Rashad Jennings is our homeboy. You know what I'm saying? Me and Dennis both coached football, high school football, with his brother. Unfortunately, right. I left, and Dennis wanted to win a championship at the school that I left. But you know what I mean. So Rashad Jennings came from the school. We had Chris Cook, who played at UVA. We had Mike Brown, who played at Liberty. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of kids on the western side of Virginia, opposed to like the northern side, like Richmond, or the east side, like where Michael Vick and them came from. Right. So Virginia is almost like a farmhouse now for football and basketball. Mm-hmm. Mainly for football and basketball, because they have a lot of college preparatory schools that's in between college and the high school. Like you got Oak Hills out there. You had what's that school, Dennis, that Chip used to coach at, the military school?
There's VMI. No, not VMI.
Fork Union. Fork Union. You got the one down in Chatham. So there's a lot of college preparatory schools, man, that you can go to where you can take an extra year. So basically you go to high school for 5 years. But that fifth year actually helps you get more experience to play like basketball and football. Right. I mean, think about some of the biggest people, like, one of the greatest players in the world right now, Carmelo Anthony. He came through Oak Hill. That's in Virginia.
Right.
So Virginia has a lot of essence of sports that people want to get involved with, like your Texas and your Floridas. And Virginia has put a lot of people into the pros.
All right. So, Dennis, like, what is the mental health like? A lot of these students that's trying to go pro, a lot of them come from poverty. Not all, of course, but a lot of them. Like, what is their mental health like? Like when their sports become so they get so consumed by sports because it's like their only outlet or one of their only outlets. Like, what is their mental health like? Like putting everything into trying to go pro with so few people actually make it there.
Mentally, it's a taxing. It's a process. That's the first thing I would share with anybody. And you need a good support team. If your goal is to go even going from high school to college, you need a good support team. You need people in your corner, people who tell you the truth. You don't need yes people. You need people who can respectfully disagree with you, but show you enough love to give you the right information. I'm big on giving my athletes the truth, telling them what they need to hear, not necessarily what they want to hear. I think that mentally, whether you transitioning from whether you're the high school star going to college, we share a lot about everything changes for you.
You're no longer the big dog.
Hey, you're no longer the big dog. But if you're that talented, when you get to college, eventually you'll be back to the big dog status, and everything changes again. We talk a lot about women, stuff they post on their social media. Talk about or guys who try to sleep with all the women, or women who try to sleep with all the guys. We talk about respecting yourself, focus on what you want, not what you like to have. And then you also run into the financial aspects and the mentality of most Black people are now just starting to come into their own financially, and we're getting the knowledge we didn't have 10, 15 years ago about finances. So you're basically taking a kid right out of poverty, and giving him thousands of dollars, and if he doesn't have the proper education on how to spend his money, he blows his money.
Right.
So there's some financial education that needs to take place. There is all kinds of safe points that need to be put in place so that if he fails, what does he do if he fails? You hinge everything on this opportunity, and what happens if it doesn't happen?
Right.
So I think you most definitely have to have a wonderful team in place. You also have to have safeguards in okay, you're one accident away from your athletic career being over. I mean, that's
right.
The reality. It doesn't matter what sport it is. You break a leg in basketball, blow a knee, pull out shoulder, you're one injury away. So you always got to be thinking athletically, sports is just a vehicle, and use it to help get where you want to go. And along the way, you get a good education. You meet people, make networks and connections that you can't afford to give up, and then you just work through it. You put the best out there. You attempt it, and if that's what your goal is, then that's what you work for. So mentally, I think there are a lot of things that we need to continue, not just to focus just on sports, but also broaden our kids' perspective and spectrum on what they would like to accomplish, where they want to go, how else we can, like I said, sports is just a vehicle to help us get where we want to go.
Right. No,
so let me ask you this question, Dennis, let me ask you this question real quick. We have a lot more kids now playing sports all year long, like through AAU basketball, more camps for kids from middle school through high school. So what is it that we can tell the young boys right now who get gassed? You got kids in middle school getting college offers to go to college, and and like that guy here from Delaware, they got that scholarship to go to USC as an eighth grader. What is it that we can teach our kids to be more mentally strong now? Because one, we already know it's physically taxing on their body because they train all year long. They don't have no social life. They have no friends. So when they go from middle school to high school, now the pressure's on them even more. Now you try and get into college, D1 college, and you try to go for free, right? So what is it we could teach the kids now? Because parents are pushing these kids so much, get this $100,000 scholarship to go to school for free, but their minds are gone. So by the time they get to the pros, they're just a noodle. right? So what is it we can start teach them now to be mentally prepared, not physically prepared, but mentally prepared?
First of all, every kid's not going to going to be a professional athlete. That's the first thing. As
Yeah,
parents,
right.
you gotta.
You can't tell their parents that.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, the reality is, and if you gonna make it,
Right.
allow your kid to be a kid. Allow them to play multiple sports. Allow them to enjoy that process. It only happens once. It's like going to a prom. You only get, once. Your senior prom is one time, and you might go with a few other chicks, or us as men, but you only get one
Right.
that's yours. So enjoy that process. Enjoy that time. Don't parents try not to live through your kids is one of the main things. Let your kid be a kid. Let them enjoy. Kids enjoy the ride. I mean, like I said, you only get to this once. You only get to go this opportunity once. You only get to live it once. Learn every failure is an opportunity to get better. So learn to let them fail and fail forward. We learn from every success. We learn from every failure. Mentally, it's one of them things where you can't push a kid where he doesn't want to go. There's some kids who don't even want to go, but your parents are pushing them so hard to try to get there. You'll ruin your relationship. You'll ruin the kids' respect for you. Let them enjoy the ride. I mean, you put them in the best position for success. That's my key. You encourage them. You cheer for them. One of the things, as being an athlete, my dad showed up to all of my events, whether it was football, basketball. I could be running at Penn Relays with 10,000 people, and I can tell you where my dad and my high school coach were sitting. So their voice and where they are and who they are in your life means something. So don't take it for granted as a parent that your kid will always love and respect you for pushing them them.
Right. So, Dennis, I got a follow-up question to that. I watched a documentary on ESPN once, and it had that guy that was supposed to be like the greatest quarterback ever. Since he was like a kid, I forget his name, and I had to look it up. Since he was a kid, his parents was just basically just forcing football down his throat. So, like, he was going to be the perfect quarterback. He had all the physique, you know what I mean, because he'd been working out so long. Long story short, I think he got drafted, turned out to be not a bust, but he had injury problems or whatever, never made out to what he was supposed to be. Like, can you speak to like that kind of pressure and the constant, like, us trying to make sure our kids, like, what is the, like, you think like the mindset of these parents, like, is it truly for the betterment of the kid? You want them to, go pro so they can be good, or like you trying
to family
a super cornerback because you want him to go to the NFL so he can't play outside. He got to exercise. He got to do all this stuff. So like what is the mindset behind these parents that are like making? Because sometimes it pans out. You got people that go pro, like Tiger Woods was playing golf since he was 3, and then sometimes it don't work out, like the guy that was the NFL quarterback that ended up, not having the career that he probably would have had if he just let him produce naturally. So speak to like that mentality of these parents. Like, what do you think it is? Is it for the kids or is it for the parents?
That's a tough one. I can't speak to their mentality because I don't think it's right. I think they're trying to live through the kid, and then they also look at them as a meal ticket. If he makes it, he's gonna take care of us. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean so. I teach my athletes that they don't owe anybody anything. First of all, they got to learn to be no men, because if you make it, if you have that opportunity to go to the NFL, you don't seem to realize that everybody thinks you've arrived, and everybody thinks that you can help them or give them a loan or give them money, and it's not like that. I mean, he's got to manage. First of all, if he hadn't been taught and managed his money, he'll blow it anyway.
Right.
Because he just took a guy who's used to, his parents made, if they were lucky, they made 100 or 200 grand a year, and he just makes 200 grand a day from a football game. So his checks are 200 grand every pay period or so. So, you've just given him more money than he's ever seen before. And one of the hardest things is I was honored to sit in on an NFL training session, and they were basically telling the guys, you stick your rookie son in a locker room with Ben Roethlisberger, who has a Gucci $10,000 Gucci bag and a $20,000 Rolex. You know, your kid is not making the kind of money he's making at the moment.
Right.
But when he sees all these other guys with, you know, Porsches and Lamborghinis and you know, $500,000 cars, what is he supposed to do? You know, without him being taught to save and invest his money, he's gonna go out and now he ain't pretending, but he's gonna spend his money to get the things that he thinks makes him acceptable to that group.
Right.
Social acceptance.
Yeah. So without the knowledge, without the intelligence and the information, he ends up blowing his money. You know,
right.
At the end of the season, the check stops. So, yeah. You know, and in February when the last football game is played, what do you do? You know, how you go from February to what is it, June?
Yeah.
July when the season starts. That means you don't get no paycheck.
Right.
So, but as far as parents go, I mean, you got to really, I find it, most parents try to live through their children and they put their hopes and dreams on their children instead of just giving them the information that they've acquired over the years. They try to push them to be what they wanted to be or what they think they should be. And it doesn't, and my plug would be is don't make athletics the only thing that you want them to be or do. You know, whether, you know, I have a 13-year-old daughter, and of course I wouldn't mind. I mean, she cheerleads. She's trying to figure out her niche. She's going to do. I don't force her to do anything athletic, but I do force her to be moved so she doesn't just sit in front of the TV, that kind of thing.
Right.
But I'm not going to force her to play sports. I'm not going to push whether any sport on her. And she finds one she likes, I'll cheer for her, and I'll hope she does well. And if she wants to work and train at it outside, sure, I'd be there for her to help her and train her in any way I could. But I'm not going to force her to get up. Hey, baby, you got to get up and go train. No, if you want to, that opportunity is there, and
right.
I'll invest in you if that's what you want. I'll go ahead and work with you as much as you want, but I'm not going to force her.
So,
like, real quick, we have one comment from one of our viewers. Phil Atkins says, failure teaches us valuable lessons, right? And I agree with that as well. But one thing I think about too, a lot of kids I've coached in high school that were very successful in high school, go off to college. A lot of these kids come from a single family home. I had one kid whose grandparent was raising them. Their mom and dad wasn't existing. So to quote it what Dennis was saying, when they go to the pros, some of these guys feel like they honored to take care of the person that got them there, right? Well, I mean, yes, you do got, you know, show respect to people got you there also, but sometimes I think they go a little bit overboard with that, because once again, if you come from a two-family dynamic where you have a mother and father who teach you the family structure, right? And within that, then they start pouring other things into you, like from a man to man. Like I always try to point to my son the greatest thing it is to be a father, and what it is to be a man in this world, right? But if you don't have a man teaching you that, like that deficit is very void. That's why sometimes these guys get into the league and they become very abusive to themselves and other women as well, because they don't have that control structure that was instilled in them. You know what I mean? So once you know, they say money equals power, but sometimes that power can be a negative power as well. You know what I mean? So that's why I like, you know, Dennis to be training guys, and I go there every now and then to work with them as well. You know, I always try to like tell the guy, like, yo, just be yourself.
Right.
Like just said earlier, like these guys trying to be like Ben Roethlisberger, but this dude's been in the league 35,000 years. You know what I mean? His money's long. You know what I'm saying? You come in, you get the bare minimum. Like one guy I know that used to go to Liberty, you know, for like 7 years, man, he kept making a league minimum of 50, you know, 500,000. To me, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
If you spread it over 16 weeks, that's nothing. You know what I'm saying? But his mom and dad was very strong in his life to where, I mean, the money, you know, he saved the money, which is good. But the thing that I think, and that we need more people like Dennis, like you say, you got to be a no guy. You know what I mean? You got to teach people, you know, I can't do this. You know what I mean? I got to live. And you know what I mean? So it's a lot of stress on the kid, bro.
Right.
Now, my kids did all right in sports, but I wasn't that guy like, yo, you going outside and practice when it's summertime. Nah, be a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, have a life. You know what I'm saying? Have a life. So I applaud the guys who are in the NFL and in any sport right now that's still striving to make it long. I mean, look at Dennis, what's that guy named Vince Carter? He was playing 20-something years in the basketball league.
Right.
You know what I mean? But he has a strong support system also. And that's one thing we always talk about on this podcast, that you got to have a strong support system, whether it's mental, physical, financial, social, whatever that you're doing. You need a strong support system to make it. You can't do it on your own, no matter who you are.
So, Joe, shout out to my cousin CJ Rivas. He's now on the Atlantic Falcons. What up, bro? What up?
What up, homie?
Hey, shout out. You know, I told my cousin when he was going pro, I said, look, bro, I ain't never going to ask you for no money. Just don't, you know what I mean, pretend like you don't know it, brother, when you get these big checks, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't go ghost on your boy when I call you. It's like the number you called is temporarily disconnected. You know. So, you know, I love it when people get successful and make a lot of money and grow, man, because you can learn from them, even though they might not give you monetary stuff. You know, you just learn. You see things. I remember I was watching a story on ESPN, and primetime Deion Sanders was speaking to, he was on the Jaguars first. And I was like, yo, that's my cousin right there. Yo, he met prime time. That's crazy, yo. I'm like, I had to call him up. I was like, yo, you met prime time? He like, yeah. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So, you know, it was just amazing. That hard work can pay off. I'm telling you guys, like, it is so hard to go pro, man. You guys got to utilize, like what Dennis was saying, utilize this college, yo, and do something great with your life. You can still make a lot of money. If you think about it, yeah, Ben Roethlisberger making all this money, but there's a guy in the press box that ain't playing that got 4 times as much money as Ben Roethlisberger, dog.
Stephen A. Smith.
You know what I mean? If he had Ben Roethlisberger money, my man might kill himself. He be like, yo, right. I'm broke. You know what I mean? So you use this sports as a platform to like be able to better your life so much. You can still make really good money. You can still learn about investments. You can use that college to be really successful. And there has been cases where people, you know, wasn't really that successful pro, but is really rich right now. Apparently, one of the richest people from NBA history is some guy that you would say, I mean, he was pro, but you would say he was a scrub. This guy worth $600 million. So Dennis, like, speak to like athletes, like you had touched on it a little bit ago, like using that platform to be able to grow, even if you don't go pro, to be able to still change your family's financial situation, to better yourself, to get a good education. Like, speak to that, Dennis. Like turning that into a positive thing. Like, yeah, I wasn't good enough to go pro, but I'm making $350,000 right now because I used that platform of going D2 and I got my free college. So yeah, just talk about that, man. What can these athletes do, man? It's hard to go pro.
First of all, you strive for perfection. You know, you strive to work hard. I think those characteristics carry over into whether you're not just your social life, but your everyday living. I think that just as hard as they work on the field or training to be on that field, you work that way in the classroom. You work that way at keeping your family, keeping your wife, even, you know, making yourself a success. I also think we have to learn to. Our country's lacking a financial base or a financial structure so that our kids learn financial success. That's part of the key. That's something. It doesn't matter black, white. You know, if we're not taught the keys to finances, we'll always struggle. So I think that a good financial education, especially if that's your realm, I think you know, once you make up in your mind that, you know, you're going to be successful, whether it's through sports or after sports, you come up with a good game plan for you financially, and then use your network. The network is crucial for you. Even if you don't make the professional team, or if you do, and you know, I've had a couple guys go and they stayed 3 years or 2 years, but use what they acquired in those 2 to 3 years to help propel them where else they want to go. and then they, being financially sound also means investing in things that help produce for them. So I think that I'm no financial expert, but those are things that they have to consider. Those are things that, some of us weren't taught, that we try to share with them. And, you can't buy you don't need 10 cars because you can only drive one at a time.
Right.
I mean, let's be real. You don't need the $200,000 watch tells time like the $200 watch. So, why do you I don't know. There was a commercial some years ago, back in the 60s or whatever, which told white people how to promote to black people.
Yeah. It's called How to Sell.
Man, that particular commercial showed, white people like black people like to look successful even if they aren't. Basically, that's what it said, but it didn't say that, but that's what it said. So they like to look successful. They'd rather drive the Cadillac,
right,
as a sign that they've made it, rather than drive the Honda, but keep the Cadillac money and use that money to make them more money. So it's one of them things where, finance, if schools aren't going to teach it, they teach people to be employees. They don't teach them to be successful financial investors or financial people. So it's something that, as fathers, as black men, as we have to share with the people under us, and, the people in our circle, so the mentality for us is spend it so I look good, spend it so it looks like I made it. And, we sometimes don't want to share the information we've acquired, which I think is robbery. I mean, how do you expect people to make good decisions with no information? Before I started my I had started my company. I've been working, and I was making more money in 3 days than I was making working a 5-day-a-week job. Working 8 hours a day. I'm working 3 days a week, and I'm working 4 hours for those three. I'm working 4 to 5 hours, and I make more money doing that than I did working my full-time job. I said, man, you know what? What if I really focused on this thing? How much money could I make? I decided to leave the job. I talked to a few gentlemen who really weren't as much help as I thought they could have been. And they were black guys that were businessmen. And I assumed that they would give me a little more information. And they kind of left me hanging, I don't know why. I don't understand. I mean, anyhow, another gentleman, Caucasian gentleman, ended up sharing with me everything I wanted to know. Man, think about this. Consider that, have 6 months of salary before you leave your job. That way, if something happened, you're good. Consider this for health insurance, for life insurance. You got to make sure all these things are in place. So I think that information is crucial. We live in the information age, so we need to be able to share the information we've acquired. Like you said, I think you said somebody said we learn through failure. Yeah, we do. What we should, because not everybody does. That's why you keep repeating those same mistakes. So, it's one of them things where financially, it use the platform that they've been given to help give back, to be responsible, to help share. Those are all things that we can have to teach. And one of the things for athletes is to be coachable, be teachable, and not just athletically, but academically, socially. You learn as many lessons as you can. Always hear what people are saying. Not everything is for you, but listen anyway.
Right. So I just wanted to mention, because I done brought his name up and I didn't say who he was. His name is Junior Bridgman. Have you guys ever heard of Junior Bridgman?
No.
NBA player, is worth $600 million now. Played in the NBA a few years and started buying a whole bunch of I think strip malls or outlets, something like that. He is number 2 on the top 20th richest NBA players in the world, and nobody's heard of him. So it's pretty amazing. And that's kind of like what I mean, like using whatever you're getting. He probably was making the minimum because he obviously wasn't an all-star or anything, and just took that money and built an empire. So like, these college athletes, man, you guys getting the choice to get a free education without the student loans. And what we need to do is, as student athletes, man, like pick a major that's actually going to help you guys. Like, don't just do mass communication because you about to through your degree, and it's easy because you think you're going to the NFL. You know, there's been a few guys. I think there's one neurosurgeon that was a college.
Dante Roll. Yeah, Dante Roll from that's one of my frat brothers down in Florida State. He had a chance to go pro. They said he's in the top 10 to get drafted, and he said I'm gonna go to medical school.
Right.
You know what I mean? He got look, and this is the best thing about it. Let's use it to our advantage, right? Like you said, go to school, get a free education, but also you got benefit from him. That guy went to school and now he's a doctor. Now he's making more now on a long term focus of life opposed to short term. Because he goes to the league and tore an ACL.
Right.
You know, and now he's out, but now he's gonna be a doctor. He's making however much money he'll make a year. You know what I mean? So a couple of our guys that chimed in. Don, what's up, Don? Tell him some the guy used to play for the Bucks. He bought a whole bunch of chain restaurants. And then my girl Nicole said she came on. She said she tell her son this all the time. Like we now, even though things are more accessible because of social media, is more accessible to everybody. My daughter, who's 7 years old, she can find whatever she wants to online. But we have to be more of a foundation for our kids, be in the air. Like, you know what? I know what you see on TV. That's not necessarily real. You know what I mean? Or you don't know the struggles of it. You know what I mean? We gotta pour that positive affirmations into them and build up their self-love for themselves. So when the money doesn't do it for them, you're not false sense of hope. You know what I mean? We got to know who we are as individuals, especially as black men, you know what I'm saying, in society, because we're getting dogged. Think about y'all just said they made a commercial on how to appeal to black folks.
No, they
make money off of this.
It's called you guys check this stuff out, man. It's fascinating. It's called How to Sell to the Negro. You can look it up on YouTube, and I'll tell you, when you watch this joint, you're gonna be upset, boy, because that thing had my blood boiling. But you had mentioned something earlier, Dennis, like you went to a few black people and you felt like you didn't get the knowledge that they could have gave you. And the thought, and we talk about this on our show all the time, the premise that you can't help another black man or you can't share information from black men to other black men, that is a mental illness. It has been designed that way because when we did have that kind of black consciousness, you know, they killed all of our leaders. So now you're like, man, if I start, you know, being all positive and sharing all this stuff, I'm gonna end up like Malcolm. You know what I mean? No, I'm serious. Like, you know what I mean? And you're like, yo, you know what I mean? So that's kind of like where that kind of started. That, yeah, we ain't supposed to, like, if you think about it, what they say is back in slavery, let's say I knew how to read. I try to teach that to another slave. That's punishable by death.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, so now you done killed me and you done killed my family to make an example that you ain't teaching nobody this. So we have become over the years very reserved with our willingness to share information. And that's something that I see slowly going to change through the younger generation, like people my age. Like, I love sharing information. Like, I tell everybody the mistakes not to make as a business owner because I done had 2 businesses. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't do that, dog. But I'm an open book when it comes to that kind of information. But it wasn't like that when I was, you know, being a State Farm agent with everybody. You know, not everybody's going to be an open book. I had to start reading. I had to start learning things on my own. I read a lot of books. I didn't learn financial literacy until I got my Series 6 to be able to help people with mutual funds. And until I read like books like The Simple Path of Wealth, I had to educate myself. Now I know how to invest in stocks and stuff like that. But like my parents didn't know, and they passed away now. So they didn't share it to me, obviously. So who else am I going to go through to kind of get this knowledge, man? So that unwillingness to help you when you first started your business, that is just a mental illness and that generational trauma just being passed down, man. Like, they probably want to help, but they don't know how because nobody helped them. Nobody showed them the way. And a lot of times you be like, man, I figured it out. He'll figure it out if he wanted bad enough. You got to want it bad enough. That's what people say to us. You ain't hard enough. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Hey, I'm tell you another funny thing, too. When I was growing up, my dad used to always say, put it on my credit. Like, oh, that must be the way they do. You know, bill collectors call, put it on my credit. I thought that's what we're supposed to do. But then I realized that messes up your credit. And as African Americans, we got to have credit to be successful. You know what I'm saying? Because they look at our credit score and the guy next to us who ain't the same color as us, guess what? He'll get the loan before us, but we have a high credit score. You know what I mean? Or we might have more residual income in the bank. You know what I'm saying? So then I had to teach my kids the opposite. How not to be like my dad was. My dad was he was kind of ignorant with money. You know what I'm saying? He like, well, I got a check coming next week. That was his process. But we can't live check to check. Like Mel sent me a post the other day. This guy owns an apartment building with multiple units, but now people not paying their bills because of coronavirus. This guy said he's struggling to pay his own bills. How is that possible? You own a multi-unit apartment building, you can't pay your bills?
Paycheck to paycheck.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Dennis, all three of us who all want real estate. You know what I'm saying? Dennis he's very adamant about real estate. Mel, you super avid, you know what I'm saying, about real estate. I'm the guy in the middle. But we all know that real estate actually does help out your portfolio in life. You know what I'm saying? Among owning the business and among owning the finances also and investments. But here's the question I have. How do we teach our kids that's coming behind us these facets of life that they're going to need to be successful in life? Well, they don't want to listen to us. They listen.
It starts with young people my age and a little bit younger. So I just turned 30 years old. And like I was telling Joe, like I wanted to start this podcast to help like on the mental health side. I believe there is no black wealth without mental health. You know, that I stand by that because we have so much generational trauma. So I wanted to be like a pillar and get other black men, you guys' age to chime in on this and just really build.
Whoa, hold on. What you mean our age? What you mean, bro? What you trying to say?
Y'all still young. Y'all aging younger. You know what I mean?
Come on, man. Don't let the great fool you, bro. I'm still 21, baby.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? That's what the women say. I'm still 21.
Right. They be 21 forever, dog.
Right.
They be riding that way.
They be 21 forever.
They be 21 forever. We just need a lot of black men to just be those pillars in the community so that we can help these young kids, one, with the mental health, and then two, teaching those basic skills. Because like, since nobody taught it to me, man, like I was just telling Joe, I put $1,000 a month into my Vanguard high yield dividend stocks and let it sit for 35 years. And I would have done made $6.8 million. And I'm 30 years old. So this is now what me and my wife goal is, right? We'll be at 6 million. In 35 years. So it's really simple to build wealth with books like The Simple Path of Building Wealth, right? But none of that was taught to me. So I'm like, if we teach these kids, you get a kid that's 20 years old and they put $250 a month into the Vanguard high yield dividend stocks until they're 65. We're going to start building this generational wealth. We got to be able to share this knowledge and help as many people as we can, because realistically, jobs can go. If you don't have a stock portfolio and you don't have real estate, when stuff like this happen, you're like what me and my wife is. We struggling out here, son. You know what I mean?
Well, think about this. There's people right now who are working and their 401k just got hit because of the virus. You know what I mean? So that money they've been saving for 10 to 15 years of their job now is gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to have a safeguard behind you. 401k is not the answer at all.
Yeah, you got to do the 401k, and then you got to also have your own little portfolio outside of that. Right. Vanguard has always been the way, in my opinion.
We got two comments. Don said he always teaches his children. It's good to have. He said, "I'm always teaching my children that good credit is better than money." True. Phil Atkins says the rule of 72. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know the rule of 72. You know what I'm saying? Phil, call us. Tell us about the rule of 72, bro. What's the number, Mel? Give them the number.
302-584-3287. Hold on. Let me, why ain't my ticker on there? Oh!
There you go. There you go. We back, baby. We back.
I'm like, I pay good money for this program, and my ticker ain't on there.
We need our ticker every time we come on here.
So,
hey, Belinda said good morning to us also, bro.
Hey,
Belinda. Belinda's been one of our strongest viewers that we had.
Shout out. We definitely appreciate it. Hold on. Brianna said another great read is The Millionaire Teacher. Thank you, Brianna. Brianna is on our show for the second week in a row. What's up?
Actually, third week in a row.
Oh, Brianna's been on here 3 weeks. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
My buddy right there. I appreciate you.
We got followers.
Now, to be serious though, like my dream is our podcast and talking about mental health for Black men and women to be as popular of a thing as when Cardi B get on Facebook and be like, all the silly stuff that people are going on there, is that we really just open this up as a platform for Black men to talk about the issues we deal with and come up with better solutions. Because until I started talking to other Black men, I thought I was the only one that was depressed and suicidal and all messed up mentally. Right. And been through all the stuff I was going through. Now I feel so much better, bro, just from talking to the therapist. I ain't suicidal. You know what I mean? Going to therapy, talking to other Black men, and this podcast. Yo, I feel better mentally than I have in the last 20 years, bro. And I mean that, yo. Yeah.
So Dennis, let me ask you a question, Dennis. What do you like? You got a training session today or tomorrow, right? 1 and 2, right?
Yes.
So what are you teaching the athletes now, or the participants now, mentally, how to deal with what they really, get involved with? Because a lot of your kids you teach now are high school and college kids trying to go to the next level on each of their platforms, right? So what are you and Pete teaching the kids today and tomorrow besides, how to stretch and how to be more, use your muscles to gain, more abilities and stuff like that? What are y'all going to teach them psychologically and mentally?
Well, psychological teaching comes from goal setting. Whatever you're trying to do, you set goals, man. So those goals help you out. Those things keep you focused, they keep you on task, and they give you a direction to go in. So we teach goal setting. We're big on goal setting. The Bible says write the vision and make it plain. Writing the vision is nothing but setting the goal. So we put that out there. We put that out there as like, where you guys want to accomplish? Where do you see yourself? How do you get? And then we come down with the plan that how do we get there? Okay. So if athletics is the goal, if you're saying I want to go to college and athletics is the vein I'm finna use, that's what we do. We build a plan. We'll train you. We'll give you the things you need athletically. We'll share the things that you need. I encourage my athletes to listen to motivational speakers. Be challenged. Be challenged yourself. Every twice a week, listen to somebody. Les Brown. Listen to shucks. There's so many out there. I like Les Brown, so that's why I said Les Brown. So, whether it's
shout out.
Yeah. I mean, pick somebody, and then you listen to that so that you're challenged, so that you're motivated, so that you're challenged to think a little different, think outside the box. And you don't mind sharing with, like I said, that network that you have, that support system, that's crucial. Like he said, our mental health is unparalleled. You got 300 years worth of damage, that you got to work through psychologically, work through, and it's not just about sports. I mean, I hate to say that. I know I make my living through sports, but at the end of the day, you want to be a successful person. You want to be a good person. You want to be somebody who can take care of their family, somebody who raises their children right. You want to be somebody who's stable mentally, emotionally. He said he's in the best place of his life in 20 years, Mel said but you need a good support system in order for that to happen. Right. Nobody wants to just be given money thrown out to the wolves, and then everybody in your family comes and picks off.
Yeah, you ain't lying about that.
You owe me. I did this for you, and you didn't help me. You're not giving back to us.
Yeah, good for you.
So I mean, that's something that the guys, that young men and women need to learn as they go through that process. It says don't just give a man a fish, teach him to fish. So that way I'm not just going to give you $10,000, but I'll help set up a business that our whole family can eat off of.
So Dennis, let me tell you this. One of my brother's friends went to the NFL. His name was Jeff Otai. He used to play for the Panthers. Shout out Jeff, my man's in them, right? He was my brother friend or whatever. So people will come out of the woodwork to ask you for some bread, dog.
Oh yeah.
They will come out to the woodwork, bro, and ask you for some bread. I don't even feel comfortable going to somebody that's like my homeboy and be like, yo, dog, let me get like 10 stacks. That's a lot of you think it ain't nothing for them, but you don't understand. They got to do all this other stuff. You know what I mean? And another one of my boys, his friend went pro or whatever. Said like his best friend or whatever, he gave him like $5,000. He spent that $5,000 in like one day and came back asking for more money.
Right.
Like,
I mean,
man,
I look at people like
I give
I
you
look
no
at people like Logan Thomas, yo. Who Logan Thomas, one of the guys, he's Zach McCray's cousin, and I know longest since he was in middle school. And Logan got drafted, you know, say from Virginia Tech to Arizona as a quarterback, but now Logan's a tight end in the NFL. You know what I mean? So if he want the mental challenge he had to go through now, that guy got 6 kids now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know the mental stress on his guy be hard because of the fact he had 6 kids. You know what I mean? He come from a good foundation and structure. But think about that. You went from being a quarterback to a tight end now, and now you got 6 kids. Like, you got to keep playing football. You know what I mean? I hate when people put themselves in situations where they got to have that job to survive outside of sports. You know what I mean? There's people who have jobs now that they living above their means where if they got fired, they're devastated.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I thank God that me and Dennis talk almost every day, me and you, Mel. And Dennis always challenges me to think more financially ahead than where I'm at now. You know what I mean? Like Dennis right now, he trying to buy a house. You know what I'm saying? If he could go buy a house right now today, he'll do it right now. You know what I mean? That's how driven he is. We have to have that drive, you know what I'm saying, to be successful. But we cannot just settle for what's given to us. You know what I mean? We got to think outside, because what's been given to us been given to us for 300 years.
Right.
Which is nothing. You know what I'm saying? We got to motivate ourselves to get out that box.
You know, I forgot where I was going with this for the people asking all these athletes for money and stuff. And now I remember I watched this post, and this lady got on there and she said, "You guys need to learn the power of no." She said, "The power of no is powerful." And Dennis had mentioned that earlier, bro. Like, no.
Right.
Yeah.
Power of no, bro. You gotta learn it, man, because these people, you know, I always wonder what people's intentions is. Yeah, you helped me get to where I wanted to go, you know what I mean? But I can get you a job for me. Look at what the LeBron James did, man. Everybody hate on the LeBron, man, but this man got everybody that was close to him a job, and they making money.
Mm-hmm.
They making money. So LeBron
don't just give him money; he gave him job opportunity. You know, so if you think about it that way, he didn't just give him money; he didn't just give him a job; he gave him opportunities. And how they fared with those opportunities was up to them. I'm not going to just give you money; I'm not going to just give you cash, but I'll give you the opportunity. And sometimes that opportunity is greater than the money you could have gave me.
Right. Don't be like MC Hammer. MC Hammer spent
the financial money you gave me couldn't do nothing for me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, look at MC Hammer. MC Hammer was one of the greatest, richest MCs that hit his millions, but also within the same time he made it, he lost it because he gave everybody money. You know what I mean? Oh, you tie my shoes for me? Here, here's $100,000. Nah. LeBron James is the epitome right now of celebrities who's putting people on to make money. Him and Jay-Z. Jay-Z gave Meek Mills his liquor company. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we got to do. Also, Phil gave us, he said he can't call us. He's at work, but he did send us the link to the Rule of 72 on the Investopedia. So if you don't know what Rule of 72 is, go look it up. We're not going to tell you what it is. We ain't going to do that. Go look it up. Investopedia.com. Ask what is Rule of 72. You'll find out. Get back to us next week. Tell us what you found out, viewers. But like you said, Mel, like LeBron is like, you got to challenge people to make their money, man. Got to challenge. I remember when I first started my business, my mom like, "Ooh, you making money?" Yeah, it's my money. You know what I'm saying? It ain't our money. And I said, you're on the bottom of the pole because I got my wife, my children, my grandchildren, and then I got my employees also. Man, you're at the bottom of the totem pole, man. You do what I'm doing though. Get you a business. You know what I mean?
So Dennis, I got another question for you, man. What can exercise do for your mental health? Like I let you know on my challenge, I have lost 25 pounds. Whoa.
My man.
Hey, I want to show you I'm slimmer now. Look at the neck. Yeah, when you get fat, go right to your neck. You look at how skinny my neck is now, yeah.
Look at mine. Uh-oh. Rolls on it.
Need to eat a little bit less, and my cheeks are less fat. So I lost 25 pounds, people. And I was doing the One Punch Man challenge, ended up getting a little injured and I had to take a little break, but I'm gonna get back at it. To working out and hit some bike work today, man. But I would tell you that that's part of the process, man. I felt proud of myself. That was the longest I've worked out. I worked out 54 days in a row.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That was the longest I've ever worked out. And I felt a sense of accomplishment. I felt good. I felt less tired. That was just my experience. But Dennis, from somebody that does this for a living, why should people be working out? And how can that help your mental health?
First of all, it's a good stress reliever. You know, first of all, we need to be in physically good health regardless. Our eating habits, 90% of it's eating habits. So if you don't eat right, hard to train, hard to lose weight. So you want to make sure we eat right and take care of our bodies. You only get one. But anybody in general, just being able to exercise, it releases endorphins, which help clean out your system, which help, thought patterns, which help. It does so much for you. It's most definitely needed in people's lives, most definitely needed for people to be successful. If you do a little research, 9 out of 10 successful people exercise at some point in their day. It's built into their routine. It's what they do every day. They're systematic with their approach with most things, and being exercise and being a person who shows exercise or activity in their life is a must. So I think as we go, like I said, stress, it's a great stress reliever. It's one of the best ways you can get rid of stress. Doesn't matter if you go to a gym and punch a bag, if you go for a run or whatever it is that you do, lift weights, just have fun, enjoy yourself. Don't make it something that you don't dread it. It's something you can be enjoyable. Shots, you can go out, take your family, go play kickball, man. You know what I'm saying? Just be active. Just go out and do something. Take your kids out and play basketball. Just go have fun. Just enjoy the activities that you do. Make sure you do something on a regular. Don't make it once in a lifetime thing. And just enjoy it. But like I said, it's the key to it is if you have to and if you want to, you should try to incorporate your family in it. That way, you got your kids running, moving. Nobody's sitting at home in front of a console playing a game all day, every day, or in front of the computer screen all day. You guys can get out and be active as a family. You'll live longer. You'll promote your physical and emotional health. And so just enjoy that ride.
Yeah.
Don't forgive me. I'm walking out to my training session as we're talking, fellas.
Don't forget, my wife and I had just started to do yoga together. Well, let me tell you something. If you guys ain't never tried no yoga, that is some adult stuff there. I was like, yeah. Yeah, yoga is pretty hard, but we try to hit the yoga hard. But yeah, so look, guys, thank you so much for tuning in for the show. My man,
yes, sir.
Thank you so much for coming in, bro. We appreciate you. Dennis about to go get his money. He get into the car.
I can't hear you at the moment.
He's like, I'm about to get this bread, dog.
Hey, man, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Look, we leave you guys with this, man. It's time as black men that we stand our ground. We speak our truth. We go after what we want, regardless of the pain we've been through. We quit for no one and inspire others to be themselves, become greater. We owe it to ourselves, black men. We love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Hey, work out during coronavirus.
Most definitely, fellas, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you, sir.
We'll have to do it again for sure.
Absolutely.
Be safe out there, bro.
You know it, gentlemen. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate it.
Don't. Don't.